Her name is Laney Alsman. And Laney is a lifelong resident of Newburgh, Indiana, and she's the oldest of 4 children. She's a sophomore at Evansville Christian School, and she's a member of the National Honor Society, the choir, the varsity cheer squad, and more. Laney enjoys reading, volunteering, traveling with her family, and singing with her church youth group, Crossroads Christian Church. Laney's lifelong goal is to spread the word and to spread awareness to others about the world around us and how to coexist in it. Today, Laney will be sharing, and her presentation is called Diversity of Ideas. How about a big, warm round of applause for today's speaker, Laney Alsman.
Well, hello, I'm Laney Alsman. It's nice to see all of you. I will be talking about diversity of ideas. Have you ever heard a orchestra warm up? There's one instrument at a time. They can still play a beautiful melody on their own, but together, once they all end up going together, all of those instruments, it becomes something more beautiful. Diversity of the sounds, making those harmonies, end up making something that's bigger and beautiful. So, diversity is embracing curiosity. I know personally that God's creation is beautiful. It's full of mysteries and wonders and things we'll never be able to understand. It's evident in His creation that there's so much diversity in what He has made. He creates all kinds of different people and species to all come together to create this one beautiful earth. Monotony of daily life ends up often bringing us to a place where we are not able to embrace curiosity or diversity as we should be able to. We end up falling into ideas that are what is safe and what is comfortable. However, whenever we end up embracing these things, it can create something bigger. People often think highly of themselves, and they just end up cut off from creativity. They end up cutting themselves off from what could be. But if you don't leave yourself the chance to grow, and you don't get out of that safe zone, then you never get to embrace what could be. So why fix what isn't broken, right? Dr. Catherine W. Phillips, she is a professor at Columbia University. She says, "We need diversity if we are to change, grow, and innovate." To me, this means that we need to expand our scope of the world and to just do something new and different. Rashika Chishlian, also from Forbes, talks about how diversity doesn't always mean forced equality. It can also just mean deeper thought or embracing these new ideas. I know that this diversity reminds me of cultural diversity. My dad often talks about how he used to have coworkers that would go to Mexico City often to have business meetings and things. But during these business meetings, instead of how it is, how I see in America, these cold, calculated events where everybody has their agenda and they're just trying to get their things done. But there, they embrace family. Before they have any of their meetings, they end up going together in their homes and just having fellowship together with their families. And this difference in culture, to me personally, just shows how God has created such a diverse group of people. Just depending on the countries that are so close together, they're so different. This also reminds me of my family. I have my mom's side, which is a bunch of loud Israeli Jews, always talking about something. And then I have my dad's side of the family, and they're a more traditional Indiana family. They're much more quiet, but whenever they come together, they create something that is so much more beautiful and create so much laughter in their homes, seeing all these difference of people. This reminds me as well of ethnic diversity. In 2006, there was a study led by the earlier Catherine Phillips. It was a study about juries. One jury had all white participants, and one jury had at least one non-white member. It was found that throughout the study, the group that had more cultural and ethnic diversity ended up considering the facts on the case better, made fewer errors recalling the relevant information, and showed more openness about the relevance of race. This shows that we can embrace this difference in ethnicity instead of shying away from it. They were able to embrace each other and learn more facts about each other, as opposed to the all-white group where they had this group mind. They believed that since they all looked the same, they had the same information. So they were unable to dig deeper into each other and find out their verdict on the case. This makes me think about what am I doing to actively incorporate diversity into my life? Am I making sure to incorporate other people's opinions and ideas and cultures and thoughts? The outcome of diversity ends up being a better team, a better product, and a better world. Neurodiversity is also another kind of diversity that comes to mind when I think about it. In Harvard Business Review, there's a story about a man named John. John has 2 master's degrees. He works so hard at everything he does. He's a genius in his field for anything to do with computer science. However, John was unemployed for 2 years. This was because he could not make it through the hiring process. John has autism spectrum disorder. This was a reason that the people hiring him were not willing to hire somebody different or somebody who didn't fit the norm of, or the mold of a person that should be working in a business environment. However, whenever they did end up in hiring him, they ended up noticing that he was the most productive member of the team. He was able to recognize patterns that was astronomically better than anybody else in his field. And they did this by just learning to accommodate him and his needs. They ended up accommodating him with headphones and less social environments and putting filters on the lights. And through all these accommodations that they had, he ended up becoming such a wonderful asset to their team. Neurodiversity is something that affects men and women alike, and specifically, autism spectrum disorder affects 1 in 42 boys in America and 1 in 189 girls. However, there was a study led by Dr. Lewis Krauss on NPR. He states that this gender gap may not be as large as previously thought. This gender gap is likely due to males and females reacting different in social situations. Women are more able to mask their emotions and fit in with the group of people they're in, while men tend to be less likely to be able to cover up how they're feeling. So this study is helping parents and children for the future to be able to receive adequate medical attention and not worry about whether their child should get diagnosed with the correct diagnosis, because men and women are different, but they can learn from the past. Another key part of being diverse is being confident. Diversifying is embracing individuality. I know I'm personally constantly challenged in my faith with what I see on the news or what I hear from my friends at school, and I can either choose to take what I learned from these experiences, take what I have heard on the news or at school, and just cut down my faith, let it just knock away what I believe in. Or I could use it to sharpen my faith and refine my ideas. This allows my core beliefs to be a lot stronger by just challenging myself and refining what I already know. Terry Eagleton from Yale University Press says, "Doubt is essential to the very definition of faith. A proposition you couldn't doubt would be a matter of faith." And that resonates with me personally because I understand that my faith is a choice. I could either abandon it or I could work earnestly towards sharpening it and presenting it as I can, because it is a faith and I have to take a leap. Megan Sullivan, a professor at Notre Dame, also says, religion calls for a deeper reckoning of the meaning and purpose of human life. And I know that our purpose for humans is to go out into the world and share God's glory. Finally, compassion is a major part of diversity. Have you ever thought of what this world would be like if people didn't have compassion? What if the people leading us didn't consider how their actions affected others? More different people allows more perspectives and more opportunities to learn and grow. This forces us to consider these effects that we have on other people. And difficult questions by different groups of people end up leading to richer understanding of more creative solutions. However, this group of diverse people can end up leading to an imbalance of power. Some groups may feel that they are less than, or don't deserve as much attention as others. But with this compassion, we can end up embracing those people and finding those key factors to diversity by just digging in and being compassionate towards everybody in our group and finding those important pieces to make something beautiful. Compassion is the key to unlocking those ideas, and great leaders help everyone they lead to reach their greatest potential. Our differences are what bring us together. God has made us all so vastly different cultures, ethnicities, but together we create this beautiful world that we live in. I will leave you with a passage from James, the brother of Christ. My brothers, show no partiality as you hold the faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory. For if a man wearing a gold ring and fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in shabby clothing also comes in, and if you pay attention to the one who wears the fine clothing and say, you sit here in a good place, while you say to the poor man, you stand over there, or sit down at my feet, have you not then made distinctions among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my beloved brothers, has not God chosen those who are poor in the world to be rich in faith, and heirs to the kingdom, which he has promised to those who love him? By learning to appreciate what diversity brings to your table, you can unlock unique value in what isn't accessible any other way. We all come from different walks in life, but don't they say that variety is the spice of life? I'd like to challenge that and say that variety is the key to success. Diversity is what brings us together to make better decisions for a better future for everyone. Thank you.